feel like whatever's left has to take place over here and be completable at this point. So the only thing we have left are the kids there and that weird father and son thing happening over here, and one of them has to give me something, right? Ah, fuck. I cannot navigate frickin' place. Fisherman shacks, church. Joyce is really big for some reason. I can fast travel a little bit. Didn't know about that. Kinda wish I did. Games have had the ability to jump. At this point, though, like whatever it is has to be doable, right? Failed mural. You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage is peeled off over the years, but you can still make out failed electrical R&D. Slogan used to intertwine at the loops a long time ago. Only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says tomorrow is just a whisper away. Looks like tomorrow never came. Run away.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands with his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you, approaching, and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Hailostam. You must be Kim Kituragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
Hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
And what were you saying about the windows?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
You and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind him, behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
Worms. The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
Points to the building again. Getting a load of this guy, he really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language is named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, the cyber... I hate you. Encyclopedia, you have plagued me this entire game. I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around? No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day, off for me and Mikhail here. He pats his son's head. He says, pats his son's head. So you haven't seen anyone around? No, sorry. As I said, just a day off. Just arrived anyway. Something friendly and familiar in how he said that. Day off. What's so fascinating about an empty old building? Ha! It's not just any empty old building. He raises his hand to his eyes to shield himself from the pattering rain. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you. What not a lot of people know is this. This used to be the R&D department of Feld Electrical, and Feld, which now sells ink cartridges, mostly, was once a top dog in the turn of the century cybernetics boom. That's R&D. Get the building looming over you. Looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill. What's this R&D? Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore. You're probably more familiar with RTD, research and technological development. Mekalpa. Not familiar with that one either. This man is a book ahead. I don't think I've ever heard of this Feld Electrical. Not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferroscope manufacturer remains. It started out as a Midway Electronics outfitting. What was the ace? Here in Martinez. Possibly in this very building, but they developed prototypes for a tape computer. A tape computer? An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape. Ribbon is portable enough to be a take-at-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bringing them into the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rem, ICN, and Zom haven't achieved yet. He assumes something like a combat stance facing the wind. What happened? Indeed, what? The revolution? Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Ravishell backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building. Or one of the adjacent ruins. He pauses, pointing to the other buildings, then continues. All this is built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk? Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war. A pleasure wheel? The lieutenant looks wistful at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising into the sky. Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory? It's clear he would prefer if there were a big wheel lighting up the coast. Yes, to lure in the star engineers. This part of Martinez is nothing but reeds. Before Feld arrived, they had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics, but history had other plans. I don't want to get exposited at. Ask about something else. You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? I do have some, but it's not really important here. He's not going to give you money. What are you doing? You're just profiling. I don't want it. I just wanted to see whether my profiling skills were working. Of course, detective, I wouldn't have assumed anything else. As a matter of fact, a playful hint shining. He looks up again, a playful hint shining in his eyes. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper on the criminal profiling in former socialist states. Have you read it? If not, then you definitely should. Great, thank you for all the interesting information.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning?
Fire as a whisper away, but it never came. It's kind of a ladder. It's a little weird. Next to the boardwalk. Why are we talking about this building so much? Like, is there a thing that has to be done here? Am I missing something? Because if there is a you must pass this random % chance check, then I'm just gonna cheat that because that's bullshit. Like, that's actively not okay. But I'm kinda at the end of my rope here. So I'm gonna I'm gonna cheat. It's a puzzle game. I am puzzled. There is a check that must be passed. It's a difficulty 20 shivers check that you unlock after someone in the fishing village gives you a specific bit of information. The two adults have given me jack all, and I'm pretty sure that I asked the old lady, or did I go, no, you can't see anything, why would I ask you if you saw someone?
The policeman.
That just sounds
I
rude.
Hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
What's in this fishing village? Just us? You almost don't exist, what do you mean? Pretty much a non-place. A gap, blank spot on the map, cluster of nameless shacks on a nameless street. Gotta be something here, tell me. He waves her hand. Over there you can find some more of the same. Shacks and trees growing wild. That is the pox. An old military hospital and its surroundings. Or it used to be. This is the war. It was turned into a goodwill hospital for shell-shocked veterans and folks looking for some quiet in the old sanatorium gardens. What happened to the hospital? The goodwill ran out. Who else lives in this village? Lillian and her kids. You new folks live in the house to the east. They're away. And then there's the drunks. Met Lillian. I also met the drunks. Alright. Little child, have you seen any bad people? What bad people? Only questioning 4-year-olds about their parents present is gonna crack the case. And we're definitely doing it. You must be Lillian's twins. This one doesn't say anything, kicking the concrete with his worn-out sneaker. Lily's our mom, explains the other one, tongue still lolling out of his mouth. I already said that. The stone kicker laughs suddenly. The other one laughs as well. Stone kicker isn't even of very high caliber, anyone can do that. You guys look identical. Yeah, I said that. You're bad with kids. I am. Don't worry, everyone is. He looks at the little scruffian. Is it you? How about we do some more police work now? We're not getting anywhere here. Goodbye. Now supposedly, something someone says is going to unlock a shivers check at that mural we were just at.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
But she doesn't know shit.
Simmer down.
He's not even an option for it.
Our tenant, the
Why was there a bullet? Goddamn that girl, she murmurs. What? A fat anger, a long and harsh life is tighter enough to buckle under pressure. A bullet? The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, turns to the washerwoman. You didn't put it there, did you? She did. Gone and hid things in there. He's usually a good tenant, not a stupid one. You rented the room to her. Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long sentence. Her hands move to the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge. As I've done before, when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude, I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here. When was this? She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. Her wrinkled head and hand needs a blue rag in the water. What she gotten herself into? Seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before, but this seems different. That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few. She left on Monday? Early with the dogs. Around 8 o'clock. Is the room exactly as she left it? I cleaned it like I always do. Is there anything else in there? No. What's she like? Good company. I just had to talk to an old woman. She rubs her cold hands together. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation, so I really appreciate that about her. Did she talk to you much during her last stay? No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself, what do you mean? She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room. Why do you think she left the bullet there? How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun. She looks back toward her shack, thinking, where'd she go? I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on the door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. Heard her rushing in those heavy boots heading up north. You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived. I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent. Oh, man. See, that's a little too specific, game. I just didn't want to bother the old lady. But no, they're literally the only one with the thing. Cool. Further up the coast we go. Are you sure you wouldn't rather stay here, get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? She drops the rag into the bucket. It's clean now. Seems like a better idea to me. The felt electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time. Goodbye. One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her. She really means it. It's an honest plea. She's a good girl, whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in. I will do what I can. To the best of my ability. And whereas I may technically be able to pause time and retry things as many times as is necessary, spamming that makes this entire enterprise disingenuous and not worth doing. So I can't do that. There is one check that must be done, and it's this check here, it seems. So we're going to do it. Hell or high water. And because of how that shit works. Step closer. Above the mural, collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls are at a crackling and soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing out of the remains of the edifice. I don't care about felt electrical, man. They make ink cartridges. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way forward is to fail first. She be in there? Shivers impossible. 20%. 28%. Listen to the wind. In there? Be good. Or the lieutenant points behind you. She could be in the identical ruin over there. Or in that boat shack. Or in that church tower. Why is found the empty trap a +3? That's Kuna's thing. Establish the nightclub and death notification. You did the subquest in the area. But guess what, dumbass? Doesn't matter, cause you suck. You can't pass checks. %. Shouldn't be here too long, right? Shouldn't be here too long, right? Next time I'll let the failure dialogue go just to see. Suddenly all is quiet. There's no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down or gone behind a corner. You only hear distant waves crashing the coast. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb. She could be anywhere. How do we find her? How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We've already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way. Sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, past the locals, into the places where we can enter first. Like we did in the village. What was I even trying to do here? Trying to talk to the wind? The city? Whatever you thought would happen didn't. Now you're just standing there, in the pale of the morning, with your hands falling to your side. And if that fails, If we don't find her, then if we're desperate, we can look where we can't. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that. Walk the coast, the old boardwalks to reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. Buckle up, raise your collar, this search is gonna be wet and cold. I like shivers enough to just give it a point. Then this way we don't have to quite as much of a save scum it. Not that there's any reason to fail at this point, or that it should be locked behind that. 42%, right? Failure. Load game. I'm sure there's a quick load button. I don't know what it is. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's probably a thing or two I could put on that would increase my shivers a little bit. But I just fed it a point. There we go. Then there's a sigh carried on the molecules around you. Moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it. Enter the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach, below the boardwalk. Its winding tunnels whisper away. What's happening? She's down there. Say, I think she's down there, below the building. Okay, why? The wind told me. So how did we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of the building. They're gone, basically. Finally, my time to shine. There's a ladder. Maybe we can climb it, enter to the roof. Perhaps you can. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old and I plan to live to see 70. Has to be a way to use brute force. Climbing sounds unsafe. Brute force is safe. Look around and find something to break. This is only if I die. Rusty ladder. Yeah, that does not look good at all. Assess the situation. The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to have to use some mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. Like 3 meters above ground and you're 180? 190, I am giant. Sure, but still. The roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Maybe if you were to not climb the ladder instead? What if you were to do something more subtle? Astral projection. Yeah, because falling from that height, well, you don't want to do it. What if I just teleport? Teleportation is not a thing. Wouldn't hurt to try. Oh yes, it could. He's restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now. Teleport to the roof. Yark! All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to do is do it. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence. My god, I can't believe it. You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement. I did it, Kim. I teleported. I just saw you climb the ladder. You just climbed it, like a regular person. The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear. Never mind. Find the way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here. I'm in. Took me entirely too long, but I'm in. Stones fall. It's a long way down. Looks dark. Dark means flashlight. Glass is covered with grime and dust you can barely see out. Postcard. Collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Antiquated office furniture. Brought down and forgotten so long ago. Overturned tables covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. I guess you found the door. That was just here. Doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. Grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak. I hope no one dangerous heard that. How'd you even get there? After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk, next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. Easy to miss before. He's quite proud of himself, but I checked there. At least now we know there's a quick way in and out. Yes, we have an exit. So let's get going. Time to investigate these passages. Old file folders in the cart, documents silvery with mold. A series of thick, dusty planes of glass. Computer components? Filament memories from the time when wires were cast in glass. Slides with an inlaid nervous system. Old cybernetics. The lieutenant tilts his head, watching the light glimmer on the glass. So it is. I think these were used to form a single system slotted in the wall. Failed playback experiment? These? No, these are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find a device here. You will be disappointed. All you will find here is pain. Why you gotta be like that, man? I feel like Inland Empire and I should be friends, but it's always so negative. Oh. Oh, it's full of dust and spider webs. Stale fabric smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. Brush the dust off the portrait. Years worth of dust is shaken off. Full head of hair matched by an ample mustache and sideburns look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand, grain sticking to the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder. Comrade Mazov. See that? Looks like some communists were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. With all these secret weapons caches and bunkers. We have found a lot of those lately. Guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning up the old bunkers. Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good. Could someone have stopped through here recently? You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history. Same slit window you saw from outside. Revolutionary propaganda. Revolutionary's hat. Just a straight up. It doesn't fit as well. I wasn't expecting this, but I have become a slave to the fashion. To the point where I'm trying not to look at the shoes every now and then. Something about them's bothering me. Footprints in the sand. One of the soles appears more worn than the other. Tunnel collapsed. Find another way around. Definitely on the right track. I just saw the yellow thing up here. Something in the air. And a natural buzzing. It's getting louder. There it is again. Like a swarm of hornets buzzing against your scalp. Lieutenant, do you feel something? No, what do you mean? pain, strange tingling. I don't feel it, but looks ahead beyond the arch. Should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. Really didn't feel anything? No, but you're the sensitive one. Saw them too, footprints with the single right sole worn smooth. Where am I reading single right sole worn smooth? Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully. What do you mean? He lowers his voice. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and Wild Pines will do? We will set in motion events we have no control over. Calm. Go over the whole situation in detail. How bad do you think things are gonna get? Well, not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground. Can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done. What do you think's waiting? I think I see a cavern. The lieutenant's whisper echoes down the tunnel. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been through enough. We still have the element of surprise. I wouldn't be so sure. I haven't exactly been sneaking. Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back. I don't need a gun. I have spare change. Concrete pipe. Suddenly your entire body's paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain like you'd never felt before. Through the static you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse.
Says the shadowy figure by the machine.
Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
Pain threshold heroic failure. As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. Sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways. Cover your ears. No, buddy, that's not gonna help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than all the previous ones. Don't focus on the pain, focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest. You're under arrest, by the way.
Really now? Check this out.
She turns the dial in her hand. Overwhelmed with a new surge of violent static, feels like a blood vessel exploded in your brain. Gonna kill me too?
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here. I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it.
Why are you giving a exposition when you are trying to melt our brains?
Signals are relayed across
Fuck
a
this,
series
I
of
hate
computer
this.
stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing...
Yeah, great, but let's talk about the guy who died.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
Have you experienced this fucking thing yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
How'd you get your hands on this?
I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond.
Could you turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
You're looking for a deal with my mattress. Turn this.
The lieutenant clutches his head, grimacing.
God damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden sympathy.
Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She steps reluctantly out of the shadows. The pain lessens. He's carrying a 2-barrel front loader. Remain careful. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. Me make destroy, cause is destroy. Did I fail that? How did I fail that? Double once. Failed 97%. The violent white noise becomes even more overwhelming as you... More overwhelming, closer to the compressor. Feels like your brain swelling up in your skull. Squirm in pain. Just try not to collapse. You have a tribunal. Look, I know this isn't very fun for you, so let's wrap this up. You have a tribunal to attend. Know what the mercenaries are planning? She chuckles. Tribunal's an awfully fancy word for what they're gonna do. Yeah, I was listening to their frequency. They finished their investigation. Now they're gonna put on a show before meting out punishment. She pauses, biting her lip. Even though those assholes gave me up, I'm worried for the boys. And you, watch out for yourselves. You seem to have a habit of walking into traps. Why is everyone always against me? I'm asking myself that right now too. Anyway, I'm guessing you don't know that a third mercenary has come to town just in time for the tribunal. But you do now. That third, this is bad. As I said, watch out. Pain is becoming unbearable. Did you shoot Laylee? No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching. I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken verse. It was your girlfriend. She cracked. She smiles bitterly. Nah, she didn't crack. She's a survivor. If she told you anything, it was to save herself. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How'd you find me? Your own boys told us you were on the coast. My boys. Ruby Boys, formerly the Hardy Boys? She looks at you incredulously. Well, I don't even understand what you're trying to get at here. Doesn't matter. How can they be my boys when they're not even my friends? And those guys liked me. I know it. This is what happens when people who people like. A dull despair is creeping into her voice. How the fuck did the rest of you get by? Do it by asking questions? And I have some for you. Like what? She adjusts her grip on their gun. I already told you I didn't do it. Leave any flowers for Glacia on the roof? No gifts of flowers in a can. No, gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. They weren't just flowers, they were symbols of revolution. Pushed through the pain. So now I'm okay leaving revolutionary symbols around, come on. But she was mourning. Never did understand why. When someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too. So you didn't leave Maybelle's. I did not. You have an alibi for when he was shot? Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon you. There were 10 minutes they couldn't account for. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time. Our investigation has shown 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder. Wow, now I'm curious. Explain. There's a secret way from the first floor to the roof. This is a lot of conversation to have while we're being brain murdered. You don't know it, but also, she frowned, studying your face. That shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we all would have heard her downstairs. She has a point there no one mentioned. Pain stops him from finishing the sentence. Didn't go super well, you gotta lay something better on her. Like to hang out on rooftops? Who doesn't? Now you probably mean classes. Yeah, I've hung out there, she's got this great antenna. What's so great about her antenna? It's very powerful, I used it to tune into RCM frequencies, so I knew to be prepared for your arrival. Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof? The view's pretty bomb too. I'd say the antenna's the main attraction there, along with Kasia. So you're sure you didn't shoot the Merc? Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to come from afar. Take a step back. Yeah, where? More questions before doing anything. How'd you know we were coming? I heard you in the passages and you've been preparing for quite a while. By hiding bullets under floorboards. So you found my shack, huh? Not surprised. Tone's bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed. She didn't rat you out, by the way. So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find on my back. Why hide a bullet, though? This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't walked right into 25 bands of ultra-high frequencies. Who killed the Merc if it wasn't you? How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him. There hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio. This rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late listening in on the conversations, crisscrossing Martinez. Police radio, you've been following the case. Who hasn't? You know I can still see him there, Class's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming from the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while. You didn't kill him, why hide? I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn Laputa Madre agent. What do you mean, Laputa Madre agent? Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener. You have this sudden sharp pain in your head. You hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell, why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded. Who's everyone? How do you know this? Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up here of a goddamn death ray? She knows that about you. She must know your real name, too. Tell me what's my name. If you know that, you must know that, right? Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to Laputa Madre. Someone mentioned I fucked up tie? Bullshit, you're too crazy to be corrupt. Nobody insults the tie. So she knows your name. That doesn't mean you're on the take. Criminals make up boogeyman stories about cops all the time. I don't even know who that is. Sure, you don't. Sure, I'm supposed to, but I lost my memory recently. Let's just have a long-ass conversation while our brain leaks out our nose. Yeah, sure. She doesn't believe you. I'm sure they will. Laputa Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. What? I don't give a shit, man. What'd you do to this Madre anyway? You know what I did? Fucked him over. Now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus. She's not gonna change her mind. She still perceives you as a threat. What happened Sunday night? You know about the bunker next door? What bunker? Communist hideout back there? Don't know nothing about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond too. Her voice trails off into the white noise in your head. Feels like an aneurysm is approaching. Erp. Keep calm. Tell me your version. She eyes you warily as though gauging you sincerely. It's okay, we just want to... Alright, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers. And Classy comes in all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves, so I grab a seat next to her. Classy said, you knew something was wrong immediately? No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. Just assume she'd done too much below. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor dead. Maybe she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah. Made it look like she had been hanged. Or he had been hanged. How'd you manage to come up with a plan so quickly? What? No, faking and lynching was her idea. Hers? Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me. How quickly she was able to get hold of herself once we got there. Like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. And she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys. Glacia knew exactly what she was doing. You can't remain calm under pressure otherwise. Resourceful. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. Do you think she killed him herself? Like you're telling you cops we didn't hear anything downstairs, no gunshot or nothing. But even if this is true, the lieutenant forces himself to finish the sentence. Weren't you worried the lynching might lead to war? The thought crossed my mind, but the mercenary staff was going to have repercussions either way. Although, the way things are going... Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. Can't take it anymore, just go. Glad to have been of assistance. Best of luck to you. Rivershell's a bitch. But she can walk through it just fine. The woman runs past you and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel. All things considered, that could have gone worse. But now we had to come up with a really good excuse for why we walked right into a trap like that. It's going to look good in the report. Pretend, maybe there's something in there. Will admit, I know of a couple different ways that this could have gone. That is not the worst one. Dark water trails into the distance. No way out. This was her hiding place? Somewhere that they can't fucking escape from? Genius. But they can make a fucking death ray? Plain red tint stands by dispassionately. Look inside. Continue. Shine flashlight. Sorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. She's been reading shit. See anything? The lieutenant peeks over his shoulder, sift through. Rega monthly, blah 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 blah. I got a journal. Trusted friend left behind. I should read this immediately. The ending I was expecting was them shooting themselves. Thick journal. Cover's worn like someone used to carry it around their back pocket. Examine the cover. Full of full grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name, Schneller. Stationary brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. Unwind the strap. It falls open 2/3. Flip through the pages. Mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections. You left in a hurry. Could learn a lot from this. Do I care though? Logistics, why were they mad at her? Diagrams of, anything personal, how far back did the entries go, what she write the day Lily died, anything about La Putre Madre. And the most recent entry. And what'd she write the day Lily died? Nothing on March 4th. March 5th though, well that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this, slow to a fault but that's another matter entirely. You have no idea what she means. Her personal notes, you don't expect to understand all of it. What's the fucking recent one? Most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching's a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run? Not really my idea of the open road. I was really looking forward to winning. Looks like she might have been framed. The lieutenant taps on the page. If she didn't do it, maybe it's good we didn't catch her. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. We have other reasons to arrest her. Besides, I'm not sure her life as a fugitive is going to be much better with us. Especially if she has problems with the Madre. You think killed the Merc? Could have been Titus, then again. But no one heard the shot. Maybe there's a hardy boy we've yet to meet who acted as his accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. One thing is for certain, we have business back in the whirling. Questions to ask. Let us be careful though. The tip she gave us about the tribunal was disturbing. Yeah. Bertan, now's the time. Time for what? Well, you'll see. Feels like the tide is rubbing itself against your chest like a cat in heat. First the spirit, the blue medicinal one. Grab the bottle and uncork it. It's time to unleash the other world. Right now, Ruby's gone. I don't really think there's anything to celebrate here. Slowly uncork the blue medicinal spirit. The bottle opens with a silent, mysterious hiss. The fumes rising from its mouth are as crisp as the northern winds. Howling somewhere, lashing the boardwalk with brine and rain, and ancient warmth crawls under your skin. Now, Bertan, take me off. Take the necktie off. Fingers manage to undo the oily knot, and the necktie slides off. Looks so frail sitting there in your hand, weighing almost nothing. Now what? Put me in the bottle. Put the necktie in the bottle. As the necktie slides into the purifying liquid, large stains of grease rise off from it and float to the surface. There they quickly dissolve and disappear completely. Cleansed by the blue spirit of 98.7% pure alcohol, the fabric looks almost new. No longer like a disgusting worm of the lower intestine, like a colorful and deadly poisonous reef snake of the Indian Ocean. What next? The necktie floats in the bluish liquid, almost unearthly grace. Necktie? There is silence. Cork the bottle and put it away. The lieutenant has been observing you quietly all this time. He's struggling to keep silent, but finally seems to give up. I've got to ask, what are you doing? I don't know, but I'm eager to find out. That makes two of us. So let's not waste any more time. We need to clear this up. Spirit bomb. How could we possibly say no? So we've made a Molotov. That's good news. Molotov gives me hope. Oh look, a magic doorway that we just couldn't see before. Ooda donk. I have 2 points I could possibly spend. I'm beat the shit out of it, and I would like that not to be a thing anymore. Ow. I don't know if I want to... Thoughts are going through my head, one of which is why am I currently carrying around a Molotov? But like, at the same time, the tide told me to. Stop. Just up ahead. Danger. Be prepared. Don't put away your friend, your weapon. It's glowing in your hand, ready to serve. Raindrops slip down the oily fabric of the tail end of your necktie turn fuse. And there is danger up ahead. I hear commotion. Let's go. Feel this. You ready to take damage?
I'm all out of shits to give, loincloth. Welcome to the fucking reckoning. Put your damn gun down. People are gonna get hurt. We need to talk this through. All right?
Shut up! You're not gonna talk yourself out of this, loincloth shit fuck.
This is the mercenary at the gates. His chest rises and falls under the ceramic breastplate. His fingers reach for the butt of his sidearm. Say nothing.
This is a misunderstanding. Nothing irreversible has happened yet. You can just return to your unit and forget all about this.
The Kypt is merciful, willing to spare us if we just forget about our murdered and humiliated commander. I think we should just kill everyone, Courty.
You are all drunk. Come to your senses. You won't gun down 7 people in the middle of the street. This isn't a frontier town or a jungle outpost.
Easy, Lizzie. Let me handle it. I know guys like this. I'm sure we can come to a peaceful agreement. Ain't that right, fellas?
No. He's facing overwhelmingly superior firepower, and he knows it.
Peaceful.
Sounds like the armored figure is weeping. Nest in your abdominal cavity like a wild mouse. The masked man's words are barely intelligible, but you can hear them.
Fuck, she was
Oh.
right. That must be the third mercenary.
The lieutenant's genuinely worried for his life. You should consult him before getting in there. We're out of time. This is...
The mercenary tribunal.
What do we do?
My plan is not to get killed, but we have to intervene.
Big one's the mercenary at the gates.
If this turns into a firefight, we should take him out first.
Stop. This is the police. Get between them.
Get lost, comedian. You cops had your chance. Now it's fucking time for some justice.
He lips his lips, waving his gun at the crowd. Losing his balance for a moment, he staggers backward. I think he's calmed down a bit.
Pig fuck!
It's the only word you can make out. It doesn't sound calm. And so you're drunk.
Ah, yeah. Welcome to the fucking party. You're probably gonna get killed too. I don't give a shit if you're cops.
No one is going to kill anyone. Let's just put the guns down and talk like civilized human beings.
There's a train being very loud for some reason. Like more than a couple boops. They're just going for it.
With a wordless gurgle, the killer loads his long rifle.
The leader gives a small nod to the helmeted man. Suddenly the blue medicinal spirit in your hand seems to have a pulsating glow. Feels enticing somehow.
All right, end game. Light me on fire and throw me in his face.
Just throw the bomb at him. I'm barely keeping you together here. No time to talk. He will only rattle you. No, please. Peace. It's worked this far. Start with the first idea you have. Move down from that. You brought backup from out of town. Rhetoric challenging to give an argument, suggesting formidable talk about hanged man. Hand-eye coordination, like the spirited bomb, and launch it at him. Yeah, that's Red. The armored woman smiles a vicious smile. Red the killer. He doesn't talk much. Oh, you fucking sinner. What was that, Red? Be open. The killer. The gunner. He gestures toward himself. The radist. He nods toward the woman. The killer. He points to the figure clad entirely in black. What do you think he does? There on the rim of his helmet, you count little stick figures. 19, 20, 21. He kills. Smart loincloth. Fucks natives up. Soldiers the apocalypse style. Easy now. Listen, they didn't do it. Yeah, you did. Just need a little time to figure this out. Someone else. Someone who's not here now. How fucking convenient. Gives you a drunken stare, then puts his hand on the gun. We shot from a great distance. A sniper did it. Think I'm fucking stupid, cop? There's a dangerous gleam in his eye. What if I just shot one of your pals right here, right now, huh? How about it, Kip? He points his gun at Elizabeth. Tell me it was a magic fucking sniper one more time. Listen, please. She raises both hands. This cop and his drumhead court-martial won't decide who 42% yet. The Hardy Boys confessed to hanging him, all together. Titus said, we took him out back and hanged him. He said it loud in a public place. Wait, they didn't confess? Listen, he was shot, he wasn't hanged. Listen to me. You're lying. The Paul heard it. He doesn't move the weapon. You heard wrong, the lieutenant shouts. She and these men have been helping us find the shooter. The hanging was only a cover-up. Listen. Fucking liars. He pulls the trigger, a plume of smoke erupts from the muzzle of his gun. Shot rings in your ears, a low tinny ring. Then the Hardy Boys yell something. The young woman stands and looks behind her. The shot's flown over her head, crashing a small pane of glass window behind her. A mist. The old man looks at his revolver and smiles. You know what I heard, Cordy? The radio operator looks at him. He said they killed him. He said it was a good way to end a Sunday night. The Wild Pines rep does not approve of this. Ah man, I don't like any of this. Everything's under 40. Rhetoric, suggestion, and hand-eye coordination. Suggestion's like the one thing in this blue thing that's bad. Charm, men and women, play the puppet master. I see why. The Wild Pines don't like this. Think I care what that company cunt thinks? He laughs, it's a hollow laughter. We are working together. She knew you're out of control, she told me. She's gone, you stupid fuck. Sailed off 5 minutes ago. She doesn't give a shit about you, Silos. Stay cool, don't do anything stupid. Titus shouts to his men in the background. Company bitch is gone. Laylee's gone. Fuck, are we still doing this shit all? Looks around tired, suddenly sad even. Guys, little guy breaks formation. I just get in the way. I don't even have a gun. Hold your ground. Titus turns to the other one, runs to the yard. Any more of you run and I'll shoot you myself. We're doing this together. You're all drunk, look at yourself. So what? Judgment's impaired, you'll regret this. Nah, clear as day. Fucking government ordained super soldier. Enough already. What is this? We didn't come here to talk. Interrupt me again and I will execute you on the spot, Lance Corporal. The outburst is accompanied by yellowish saliva around the mouth. Rhetoric. Think of an argument. That. 58% success. Alright, here we go. This is an illegal tribunal. Colonel would never sanction this. Who's the commanding officer? Take your pick. You only have time for one argument. Choose wisely. Just a question, who's in charge of your unit after the death of your colonel? We were called Downwell once. What happened? What always happens when you get good at your job. Name midnight raids. Fucking extrajudicial funky time. Burn villages. Shit that sounds a little bad on the radio. Same thing happened when we were called whatever the fuck it was. Probably won't be called Colonel for much longer either. Not after this shit. Okay, it's not much, but he's thinking about something else, and his hand is off the gun. This did something. Now fire! Fuck him up! Do it! The muscles on your back tense up. I see that you're having time for a chat. What about fire in your face? Cause I am the sneaky one here, motherfucker. With a crash of shattering glass and terrible roar, the fire draws in oxygen. The bomb hits the mercenary in the chest, swallowing him in flames as he staggers backward. Be immune to bullets. What about fire? In the fiery inferno, you see your tie coiling around the man's neck. It's no longer horrific, but beautiful and pure. R.I.P. necktie. I only ever wanted you to have fun, Harry. Calls out to you. One last time. Bye, necktie. See you on the other side. The necktie disintegrates into molten heat. The last remaining embers letting out a pop and a crack that sounds like... Harry, for God's sake, watch out! To your right, the killer raises his rifle and takes aim at you. His moves are steady, but the long barrel of the rifle sways slowly. Kim, where's Kim? Blink, think, dodge this bullet. Success. Fuck you. Leap left, a swarm of angry lead passes mere millimeters from your side, tearing fabric off your coat. Feels like the lightest of tucks. Stop shooting at me. The man tilts his head, trying to see through the clearing smoke for the next shot. Watch out, to your left, DePaul is about to take a shot too, at Kim. God, please, the lieutenant says quietly without trembling. He aims, face pale. Then 2 shots ring at once. One from the lieutenant's pistol, and the other from DuPaul's. Same with the lieutenant, but it misses. You hear a scream behind you. He got him! Holy shit! Did he hit the rifleman? Blood gushes from the helmet's red eye sockets as Rid staggers back, disoriented. The sounds coming from his helmet are not human. Unbelievable shot from the lieutenant. Hell of a job, man. Who screamed? Glenn, dying in a puddle of blood behind you. His mangled torso has 2 gunshot wounds. Blood gushes out of them like red geysers. You see 2 crazed eyes stare at you through the burning meat and flames. With his face boiling off, the man realized the man raises his pistol at you, and he squeezes the trigger. Look the burning man in the eye. Look of vengeance framed by melting skin. This is the last thing he will do on Earth, but he will do it. He'll end you. I don't think I can win this one. But just in case I want to dodge a second bullet, I don't think I did it. Ugh. Not this time. You can't. There is no time. Something inside your pelvis explodes. Your entire lower body's on fire and your legs can't support you. You fall down like a rag doll. Pain's too immense to scream. Pushes the air out of your lungs. Everything goes dark. A distant blur as you recede into it. Listen through the darkness and the pain. The Hardy boys are screaming, fighting, dying. Someone jumps over you. Nearby gunfire shatters glass. Stop, says Gart. The cop, protect the cop, he's down. Try to open your eyes. What do I see? Nothing. Persisting darkness. Dancing lights of pain. Distant shadows cast by them like a hellish play. You're bleeding out. Out of it a silhouette appears. Crouching over you, you hear a familiar voice filled with urgency and fear. It's a white shadow that smells like apricots. It's always there. Stay with me. You feel burning hot tears streaming from your eyes. Please call her, Kim. She won't listen to me. Yes, keep talking. The lieutenant pushes down on your wound. Hard. You hear me? Stay awake. But you can't. It's so hard. Your eyelids grow heavy and the sound's ever more distant. And a cold comes over you. The lieutenant, too, is somewhere far away, almost gone, when suddenly you sense something behind him. A slender white shadow, towering. Someone stands there, raising her pistol at him. The lieutenant does not see it. He's pushing down on your wound with both hands. Don't fuck this up. Okay. No, you scream. Behind you. From your bloody lips, your eyes are full of fear. There's no room for hesitation. The lieutenant turns around and fires, his body falling on yours in the course of the motion. You hear a faint scream, a woman's, and the sound disappears, like someone pressed stop on the tape. The woman's gone, so is Kim. The whole world. Fall into total darkness.
This is death.
One more door, baby. One more door.
Let me back in the fight.
The fight? There is no fight. The fight is over. It was lost 1,000 years ago. You have laid here forever. Keep falling deeper. Take the door. He's not taking it. His body is not taking it. Oh God, no. He's not disintegrating. He's swelling up instead. Over the hours, hurting, moaning in his sleep, and rotting, and being disinfected, and smelling of drugs, and feeling saliva in his mouth. Drifting in painkillers, thrashing in his wound sleep.
You can't go, not before the case is solved. Perception hearing. There's a radio in the distance. The radio of the world, playing sounds. Good morning, Elysium. Soon you will return to the world. You're thirsty. Reach for the glass of water by the bed. The world is still there. Sleep some more.
Hours turn to days. Soon we will get up again and go through it again. Finally, we know what the infernal engine was outside. The clarion call. It was him. He is the infernal engine. He never stops. He only gets worse.
That's life. Doesn't stop.
You see the lieutenant's familiar shape in the orange jacket. It turns double, then triple, from the pain.
I'm so glad I didn't fuck up that authority check. I dodged a bullet. Hit him with the Molotov. That was on fire. Oh boy. It's nothing. You're alive, that's what matters. Kim.
Sunrise, Parabellum.
He's in the middle of a freshly cleaned room, with a fan above his head like a halo, his face covered in bruises. Ow. It's not ouch time yet. Got the Dramamine pill an hour ago. Wait until it wears off. And it's not that bad, neither surgical nor organ damage bad, but still under the counter bad. Piss jacket, Kim, you took it off? Yes, the joke wasn't funny anymore. Took it off. Sunrise, something? Sunrise Parabellum. Sunrise, prepare for war. It's an old revolutionary saying. Is it war today? The gates of the harbor are boarded up. The streets are a little more empty. Apocalyptic violence is yet to erupt, I am relieved to say. I think we may have held it off, for now. He unzips his bomber jacket. Barely. Good. Yes. We've also completely failed, but that is okay. What happened? You threw an improvised petroleum bomb at the Major. A firefight ensued. The time made me do it. Is he dead? Barry, he died in the hospital. It's retaliation. The rifleman tried shooting you. He missed, or you dodged. I dodged. Because I am amazing. Then I shot and wounded him while Glenn took a bullet in the spine. It was meant for me. Glenn did not survive. This is not the first person to die in his place. He goes on. Titus, Fat Angus, and Theo charged. Angus and Theo did not make it. They both died before they made it to intensive care. Titus survives. So do Elaine and the musician. I forget his name. Eugene? Yes, he's still alive too. You were bleeding out by then. I think you said something about your wife? And you warned me. I was able to disarm one of them, DePaul, before she got the jump on me. killed her. The lieutenant takes a cigarette from his coat and lights it. Bitter smell fills the room, and that's what happened. And they're all dead, all 3 of the contractors. DePaul was the last to die. Everard had their bodies returned to Krennel for a funeral. The company is yet to retaliate. Why? Because we deterred them, or Joyce did. Maybe the harbor is in full lockdown, too costly a target. Or maybe he breathes in the fumes, thinking. Maybe they are simply taking their time, and will attack soon? I don't know. Thought you only smoked 1 a day. This is the one. How many casualties on the Union side? 3. Lynn, Theo, Angus, the fat one. He took a lot of bullets. And Theo was just too old for combat. And that's all. Not that bad. All things considered. Oh no, officer. It's pretty bad. 6 people are dead. But what's done is done. The violence is cordoned off. The Hornets did not get into the beehive. The worst scenario has not materialized yet. And we are still alive. Both of us. Smoking, hunchback. You have it worse, but he took a real beating. That cigarette has medicinal purposes. How bad am I hurt? Reasonably bad. You were shot in the left quadriceps. That's your thigh. The other side, thankfully. No major arteries were nicked. The bullet was removed and a bacterial infection treated of that word. Can I walk? We will see. If it's possible, then by sheer willpower alone, you're going to have to become a cyclomotor. I'm a cyclomotor now. Good. You need to be whatever that is. Has anyone from my station been to see me? No. Isn't that strange? Called your station after the fight. The injury was logged in. They told me they've sent officers to join you on site. You haven't seen any, have you? The pause. I'm sure they're worried about you. Not my station. Then who treated me? I did. I didn't know you could do that. It's part of a detective's tasks chain. You can do it too. On you? Pretty sure you can't. Are you hurt? Not very. He rubs his chin. I have a concussion from that woman beating me with the butt of her gun. I try not to move too much. Things would be worse if you didn't warn me. Thank you. I did not see her coming. Stupid of me. Okay, get up. Ouchies. Easy now. The lieutenant turns to Willigan. For your eyes, an orange hue of pain. You can take it. Just don't lean on that leg of yours too heavily. How are you? I think my disco days are done. Your disco days should have been done quite a while back, Lieutenant Yefriter. What happens now, Kim? I honestly do not know. But I don't know either. We can't talk to Everett. The harbor is in lockdown. Everyone in there is outside our grasp now. Joyce is left too. Joyce is gone? Yes, she left yesterday. To meet with the board of Wild Pines, or that is what I have heard. There's a pin somewhere in the machine that keeps Colonel from sending in a death squad. Looks at the window. Maybe it's her. Maybe she kept her end. Either way, Ruby's gone and Glacia too. We should have arrested her. Who did it then, Kim? Who killed the hangman? I do not know. I think the theory you presented, someone else outside our circle of suspects, was right. It better be. Everyone within the circle is either dead or gone. Honestly, I think our investigation has not produced a single credible suspect. His voice is calm, matter-of-factly. There are all these old bunkers and weapon caches, Revolutionary era. You could find thousands more if we wanted. All over Avashal is full of them. Fucking Maybells, Kim, the flowers. What? Yank it out and show the dried flower while it falls to pieces. This one, remember? Every piece of garbage in the city is not connected to the case. You don't have to keep everything. Still a 28% possibility the shot came from a distance. We should go upstairs, rethink the ballistics in situ. A light nod, through some pain. I agree with this, what else? See? You can do ballistics. You know what I think about solving crimes? Conclude. He arches his brow. The ceiling fan patiently spins overhead. This shit's hard, man. It really is very hard. He sounds surprisingly weary. That conclusion must be making him dizzy. Not ready to give up, are you? No. You ready to limp? Yep. Good. Where do you want to limp to? I guess Glacia's room. Why not? He extinguishes the cigarette in the sole of his boot. Another look at the window, perhaps. The one he was shot through? I don't know. I can't think of anything better. Shouldn't be running. Now more than ever. It is a walking time. Ouchies. You see the same two neon-lit shapes. A man and a woman. Only now a red thread bisects the room, pointing from the antenna outside to the cupboard on the wall. This is ballistics. She's left a trajectory for us. The lieutenant tests the thread with his finger. Drawn taut, it rebounds instantly. Where does the thread lead? It suggests the bullet came from the extreme upper quadrant of possible angles, from a point beyond that of roof B. The island in the bay. How'd she know how to do this? He was there that night. He would have known precisely where the bullet hole was in the glass. It also looks like there may be more to her skill set than we know. The question is, should we trust her? This is her way of saying she's sorry. I find that hard to believe, but at this point, what difference does it make? Is she trying to tell us the shot came from the isolate? Unless she thinks the perpetrator was standing on the ring antenna, then that is where the thread seems to point. Well, that's also a location we haven't ruled out. So it is. For a second, he seems tired. Maybe we need to go to the island? The wind blows in from the open window. The lieutenant sighs, looking into the cold distance across the water. Let's go to the fucking island. Okay, let's go to the fucking island. He takes a second to gather himself, then says, how do we get there? Joyce had her sloop, but she is gone. Maybe someone from the fishing village can help the clump of houses on the coast. Maybe. There were boats there. We should ask around. Let's go. You gonna make me walk? It's gonna make me walk. Double crowbars. Looks like she left something on the table. Classius note. Next to a stack of bills you see a note. A few lines jotted down in large, uneven handwriting, just as the writer was about to rush out the door. Sorry I fucked everyone over. P.S. I didn't kill him. P.P.S. Gift upstairs. A gift. The lieutenant turns to the staircase suspiciously, looking for any signs of another presence in the shadows above. Seems she left in a hurry. Hardly surprising. Leave. It's her telling us to go look that way, I guess. That's where the thing was. Howdy.
Seeing you approach, the bruised man raises his bear in welcome.
Crazy motherfucker. Didn't think you had that fury in you. But I guess I've misjudged a lot of people lately. there I was, thinking, where are we gonna find a tin opener large enough for those cans? Then Capo Loco shows up and just sets a man on fire. Impressive shit, Copper. None of us would be breathing right now if it wasn't for... I guess what I'm trying to say here is, thank you.
This is big. It's as big of a thank you Titus Hardy can muster under any circumstances. Just doing my job.
Well, cheers anyway, Copper.
He raises his whiskey bottle in salute. Sorry for your losses. His bruised face stiffens. Theo was old. Think he'd be pretty happy with the way he went. Never could imagine him withering away on a sickbed. But Angus, he was just a stupid kid. Didn't realize the mess he'd gotten into. Trusted me. Still, the balls on him. Went down fighting for someone else's shit like a fat angry bear. Here comes the last one's the worst one. He only deals with it by drinking copious amounts of 8% beer. Glenn was my friend. Best I ever had. Loved that crazy homo like my own brother. We're all fucked without him, but what do you do? Job of shit. They were good people. Sorry it went like that. Yeah, well, I meant Amari, right? Totally. Absolutely. Today I'm gonna get drunk, eat food, bet a good-looking gal, cause tomorrow a motor carriage might run me over. Or you might die of a heart failure, or syphilis. Hey, fuck you for ruining a beautiful idea. So long. Be good so I don't have to come back here. Take care, coppers. You two look after yourselves now. Death passed on you today, but men don't get that lucky twice. He nods to you and then to the lieutenant. Capo Loco. And the normal cop, I guess. Good luck in Jamrock. Scars make the best tattoos, they say. Thanks for getting involved, guys. Not a lot of cops would step in that line of fire, but you did. If you ever feel like the uniform's holding you back, I got a few vacancies. You make one hardy boy, copper. Someone's been a little boring. What? Yeah, it's my standard, Leash. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop up, and I'll take the boring one, the regular, please, the brown. I like brown. Of course you do. Maybe that's why some black shoes, or a pristine white shirt to go with that. It's official My Lord's Capo type is a regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax. I'll keep that announcement on standby. Ouchies. What's this say? One day I will return to your side. The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. Smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Skull. Looks like Cindy finally found the words to her masterpiece. The lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger. It looks like it. Still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday. Still a heavy fuel oil and blood. Isn't that flammable? What are you trying to imply, Fingers? Could buy some smokes, light up a ciggy and throw it in there, and then just see what happens. It'd be cool. It would be. But you have to buy cigarettes. And at this point, we've done so well, I just don't wanna. Why are you sitting alone, dude?
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man? Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where's Renee? The prick is gone. Can hardly believe it, but he's really gone. He's trying to retain his jolly facade, but the underlying sadness casts a deep shadow over his wrinkled face. Gone where? Hell, most likely he was an absolute cunt. Was he killed during the tribunal? Oh, he would have liked that. Violent lives ending violently. That's how I wanted to go. Sadly, it was not the case. Is he really that bad? Absolute cunt. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old viper. People who could stand to be around him were Jeannie and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids, and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding on to. How did he go? His angry little heart gave out. The Darkwalkers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but just had to prove how tough he is. I guess he was about to head home, because when the Darkwalkers found him he was wearing civilian clothes and not that cockatoo uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him. He's gonna be buried without it. You know what happened to his medals? He looks at you for a moment and speaks quietly. Took them for myself. I took them to remember that old cunt. Nobody knew him better than I did, and I wanted to remember him by something. Love him? We hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that he falls silent and looks at you, eyes filling up with tears. I love the angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were? Something mean. In Gilead's time, you'd have been shot without a trial. That's what he said to me. Lived the cunt, died one too. Let's leave it at that. Here. Something to remember your friends by. Give him the photograph you stole earlier. Let me see. This was 60 years ago. We all went to that parade. And Renee looked so happy, and Jeannie... I'm sorry, officer. Thank you for this little memorabilia. That was nice. Lieutenant smiles. A small thing for us, but invaluable to him. He probably didn't even know Renee had the photo. I offer my sincere condolences. Yes, we are both very sorry for your loss. It's what it is. Part of life, really. But, you know, for someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone. I just don't know anymore about anything, really. But you must need something. Too bad he's gone. I was hoping to ask him about Maybells. Hold out the flower. The old man stares at the flower, then sighs and says Renee wasn't really what you call a botanist. Didn't like Interlindian lilies. Why not? There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communards, the bells of revolution. I guess in the end, the lilies were just another piece of the old insolent. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. Doesn't really matter anymore. Bye for now. Do I really have to walk the entire way? I probably do. But only I have to suffer through it. You have a boat, right?
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
He sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for failing and falling and hurting your knee. Some people hurt me. You seem angry, why?
Look at you, you can barely walk.
Some people hurt me.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
We need to get to that island. That won't be a problem. It's wind still, and the tar just dried. She points to her skiff next to the jetty. Got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. And we borrow your boat? If you promise to bring it back. And no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow. And no drinking on the boat. No joyriding either. Of course, ma'am. It's only a day or two. Official police business. Aye. Nod along attentively. Crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you. Thank you. We'll use your skiff to get there then. She nods. Please be conservative with the fuel, William. I just filled her up, but it's a small tank. She's seeing you. Skiff with a small steering engine on the back floats in the calm mirror of the sea. Once you get in there, that's it. You pull the starter handle and you're off into the bay. Strange trepidation comes over you. Are you sure you want to go now? You made all the necessary preparations, closed all your accounts, all that we're going to be doing. There's much more to do. But it is not my place to do everything. Remember what the netpicker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this. Get in and ride. Strike pose.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Eternally. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last
Boat comes to a slow stop. Lieutenant turns the engine off and there's silence. In the silence, a sputter of wings, a flock of quails takes off in the distance.
Let's go.
Makeshift bridge. Rusted chain trails off into the ocean. This leads to the depot and Land's End. The lieutenant looks at the mechanism overhead. So it seems. Oh no, we're doing pretty well for somebody who just got shot. Dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Faraway birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea. What's that flutter? A flock of quail departs, no more than 100 meters away. 102, 105. Underneath, on the islet, there's almost no wind. Just a light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline. Long dried leaves chafing against one another. Great ghost of the air is holding its breath. Kim? Yes? This is where a lesser man would stop to think about to think about the pain shooting up his right leg and into his groin. But no, you're concentrated on Hal. Have you noticed how quiet it is? I have. Is that why we are stopping? Listen to one more thing. A low hum. The air moves slowly through a concrete box. Its ancient slits and cracks resonating, hollow, a big building. Beyond that, air flows out of a pillbox window. There's very little here. The air cosets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless. A jitter. A sound impatient to happen, but not yet in this world. Okay. I don't care. I do not care about exposition anymore. I am beyond exposition. Encyclopedia, you have been hounding me this entire campaign, and it's all because of this stupid motherfucking hat. But guess what? It completes the look, and I can't take it off. But you know what? I fucking don't like you anymore. I am tired of your bullshit. I get it. There's a world more, okay? That's cool. You've talked about it enough. I don't care about the background anymore. I want to see what's happening. Microgrid generator. An old cylindrical generator is nestled above the ammo lift, of makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. Cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hands on the metal barrel, checking for warmth. It is cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired. Pour fuel into the tank. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you lift. Dark brown viscous fluid pours out and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder. Pull it. The recoil starts and wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle. Tap on the side. Leave. It's enough to keep it going for a day, it says. Books mostly fantasy and historical fiction. Dishes stained with sauce and fire. Greasy old spring mattress in the corner. Someone has been squatting here. Linen is fresh, recently washed. How recently? You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak. You know, officer, you can rest here if you're feeling tired. It will keep watch. Get you some rest for what's ahead. It's time to rest now. Anytime. If you need rest later, it is okay by me. You don't have to be a hero. I already am one. That's the problem. Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They're not particularly well organized. Most are soft covers, serialized fantasy, detective stories. Among his mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories found the magazine Café. 30% chance just for the fuck of it. Not this time. Okay. Moth-bitten bedsheet. Ball and arrow or shirt. +1 to hand-eye coordination. Well, I shouldn't need my vest anymore. Some more magnesium. And some more magnesium. Great blast door weighed over 10 tons. Rust peels off of it. How do we open this? Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open? He's right, it would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. You must control the blast door. You see the controls? I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan. Oh, over there. Oh, okay, you can walk under here. What is this then? Could this open the door? Slide the radio dial. The dial slides into the dark, under the glass, dark and silent. Nope. Turn emergency open. Much easier. And surprisingly quiet. After you. Let's go. But first, this door. Distant sounds the cargo ships. I wonder where my gun went. Ah well. I obviously didn't need it. Pain in your pelvis makes you wince. Can you continue? Mattress nest. Rain-soaked mattress on the concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. The head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall. B triple prime. The lieutenant lowers his voice, stepping closer with a hand on his gun. This looks like a good place to shoot from. Inspect the mattress. A single-person mattress, modern civilian use, brand name Marjorie, fuel stain. Empty can of beans. Filled to the brim with cigarette butts. Take one out of the can. Silhouette of a tobacco picker, a drawer, and just a paper filter. Brand, that word. I sell the same brand of cigarettes extinguished in Land's End. Be a coincidence, or the same person has visited Land's End and here. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live here, they keep it tidy. This may also be a smoking spot. Inspect the wall. Firing slit. Looks like a little window. Touch the concrete. Old and grimy, from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain. Look through the hole. Springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up, and square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting 1 kilometer across the water, the ruins look familiar. On the left, towering skyscraper. Its top layer is shaved off by artillery fire. Rue de Saint-Justine, 33A and 33B, and on the right, the red chimney collapsed back at the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. In between, the box-shaped silhouettes of the whirling in rags. Can't be 100% certain, but you have line of sight to the window? Can't be certain? It's certain. Kim, with a pair of binoculars, I'd be able to see inside the room. A pair of binoculars, or the scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on the mattress, better resting on the embouchure. Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this, I could make the shot. Good. I think we have it. The origin of the shot. It's just a sniper nest. Why didn't we come here before? Why? We didn't go everywhere in a 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. It's not procedure. 6 people are dead, though. Don't beat yourself up. We did not put guns in their hands. Or get them drunk. The lieutenant pauses as regret comes over him. We will make up for it. I feel it. Could the shooter still be here? Where? On the island. He does not answer. He just nods with his back hunched. He looks around once more and says, "You should move, now." I have so many healing items. Stealing your medicine. Fuck you, my leg hurts. Okay. So let's slowly limp along the coastline, cause that big door has got to be the final, right? The winch is broken. Rest is eating what remains of the chain. So what, somebody's just chilling on the island here? Strange feeling looking over the water. Maybe you should wander off into the sea. Leave it all and walk in. Why? Perhaps there's someone there under the water waiting for you. Smelling of tutti frutti and betrayal. Maybe you know it's gonna hurt. Shake your head. Got a long way to walk now. It has to be walking too, which is kind of the worst part. So we have been sprinting the entire time. I mean, I'm sure Kim's glad of it because he doesn't like to run. Because he's old, and that's fair. But still. Nice gun.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours.
Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight's sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything. Sir, I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. Or with the police. The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster. You're a glorified night watchman. He looks you in the eye. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank. I am an enemy commander of rank. Put it down. What rank would that be, dog? You Lieutenant W. Frieder. The big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army. To hell with it, it's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets. The old man lays the rifle down carelessly and stares at it just lying there. Like an amputated limb in the sand. Pick it up. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Inspect it closer. Rifle's in shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm made of walnut. On the butt you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangyang 4.46 millimeter, made in Hisanyao. Uses jacketed ammunition, 4.46. Jacketed military grade ammunition, stable in flight, good for hitting something that's very, very far away. He says mostly to the old man. As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this. Tiangyang, made in Hisanyao. Worn, personalized. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir? No response. Stow the gun. The old man keeps following your motions with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time. Who are you? My name is Isolf Leonovich Dros, Political Commissar, the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army, the Commune of Revachol. I'm a deserter. Partisan and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender. His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull. The Commune of Revachol. The lieutenant forgets to close his mouth. You mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the Insulindian Citizens Militia. The Army of the Revolution. I was recruited to Jamrock in the 07, trained in the École de Contrôle of the Yan, and assigned to emergency defenses in the 8th. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I heard a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties. How long have you been on this island? 43 years. Been on other islands too. I was on Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago. You said this is your termless surrender? You're with the RCM. The coalition appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol, a so-called Lieutenant W. Frieder. I'm not dealing with your bullshit. We're with the RCM. That's as far as it goes. Let's. He looks you in the eye. You represent the Moralist Internationale and the enemies of humanity. Who took this city. I represent their adversary, Le Parti Communiste, the Insolent. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. My superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldozed them onto a masquerade for trying to free humanity. His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit. Spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal on the fire pit. Have you... What is... You've been hiding here for 43 years? 43 and 10 months. I don't even know what that is. It's inhuman, sick. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. Just couldn't forget. Not forget what I saw. He just couldn't give up. But he can now. What have you been doing during all this time? Hiding, fishing, waiting. Where it's morning on Rue de Saint-Justin, people are walking. The gas streetlights have already been switched off. Further inland in Jamrock, the streets come alive with workers, men, women, children, rushing muddy avenue after muddy avenue. Temperatures rising. Alda accumulates clouds from above Precinct 41. Always waiting. The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what? For her to return? Her who? Grachal de Revolution. I come from there. Point to the mainland. I can assure you this is not what people are planning. I'm not a fool. I know the material base for an uprising has eroded. Working class has betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for our revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore. However hard I try, whatever I do. I have a serious question for you. I don't give a shit who you are. There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce. What have you been using this gun for? Killing people. Killing people. This is a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property? I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people. Interesting. During or after the war? There is no after the war. He shakes his head and smiles. His teeth rotten black. Class war is never over. So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay, okay. Going straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No, be careful. Slow and steady. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. He wants to tell you get personal. I know you want to tell me, so have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two? I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer. And why'd you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me, I'm wrong all the time. I hate you. So you're saying you killed people after the fighting stopped? What did I just say? He keeps shaking his head erratically. Suddenly, he brushes something out of his eye. What did I tell you? Don't drop the ball now. Did you use this gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Krennel? That what? He leans in, cups his ear. He heard you, he just wants to hear you say it. You're in. The corpse in ceramic armor. Hanging from the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him? The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th. His name is Laley, part of a security detail. A beautiful, strong man sent by... Nah, we're not going that way. The corpse in ceramic armor. Oh yeah, that one. Ugly piece of work, that boy. Did you kill him? The lieutenant asks, and takes a sudden step toward him. I am a son of a welder, and an officer of the Commune of Vervachal. I do not collaborate with murderers, the pederasts of the liberal regime. Exhausted with proof, pile it all on him, get a confession. The murder weapon's perfect opener. Scent of blood in the air. What else? Something you can't remember. Don't need your cooperation, I've got this. Show him the gun. Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there? It's a real gun. Not like your musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you a real weapon, huh? Going against automatic rifles with a flame bomb? Of course you got all the boys killed. He saw you. He's watched it happen. So we saw. And let it divert you. Stop changing the subject. We had the murder weapon. You know what? You're right. I am convinced it's made the shot. Should we call it? The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. You think we have the murder weapon? 4.46 jacketed ammunition modified for range. We have it. This is it. Calling it. I'm saying we got it. Good. The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line. Feels good, doesn't it? Tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer. Murder. The old man does not say more, he just glances into the reeds and twitches. We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island. So you poking around there looking for evidence? Damn diligent when it comes to dead ashes? A jitter passes him. Did you like the view? You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. The lieutenant softens his voice. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You need medical aid. I'm ready to die. I've done my part. The view was perfect. A pair of binoculars, I could have seen in the room. Because it's a sniper's nest, you dumb fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain. Another sudden twitch, then one more in his right eye. What am I forgetting? Smack. Maybells. Oh yeah. There were Maybells in the grass when you shot here. The revolutionary symbols in the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. That diagonal print in the dust in the secret space, behind Class's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. Thank you, Brain. You got it, buddy. Maybe don't beat yourself up anymore though, you are not immortal. I have 6 healing juices yet left. I'm fine. There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Damn Maybells. He looks at the blossoming field behind you. The whole island's turning white with them. He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing. So many this year too. Spring's coming in. It's already here. Wash the filth away. I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez, only here. They blossomed on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of violets, turning green with white flowers and white snow. The coast too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeoisie children to play with. You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. The lieutenant's voice is soft, friendly. You know any secret paths, pinball workshops? I may. A curious tremor passes his face. A young woman called Klasia. Ring any bells? These flowers were behind her window. I don't. Klasia. You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary. With the victim? Turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch. Spasm. Something really squeaky in my left ear. There's a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet it isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Don't leave any loose ends to get him on everything. Wonder what brand of boots you're wearing. Everything is brands with you individuals. Who cares about what brand my shoes are, sons? Some shit. Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross. Fucking imbecile. The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of his worn-out running shoes on his feet. The maker is called Arik and the size is 42-44. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size. The shoe fits, or the size fits, but not the sole. The lieutenant comes with the same conclusion. Maybe it's simpler than that. Doesn't have to be wearing them right now. People change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around. Racking big brains, are ya? Black pearls gleaming with hatred. Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck. The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his, you can see it. And those eyes, he can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own print in the ash around the fire, silent suddenly. Some strange process within him. Gust of wind and seagulls in the distance. He suddenly jerks to life. You know who he was. Coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. He was the blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood. He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. He was a soldier too. He was a man. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. He breathes in with strange animation. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years, you know? Maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention? He looks you dead in the eyes, pupils shaking. Now, you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. But when they die by the hundreds? He breathes through flared nostrils. So, you killed him. Oh, the inhumanity! He closes his black eyes. One paramilitary lesson, Ravishall. You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fist begins to tremble from anger. The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath. Hold your breath. I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was braving with them in phase. I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. He begins to smile. Didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death and that stupid look on his face. His dick still in her. Then what? Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning, there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. I last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And they have. Mr. Droz, are you aware you're confessing to murder? The lieutenant asks after a second of silence. Yes. A single word is all he gives. And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex with the scope of your rifle that night before you shot him? The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly. The old man nods. Why? Guess that's what they were doing. Shrugs and smacks his lips. The motive, this is where the motive is going to come from. I do not understand. Are you a detective? I don't understand this part. Why were you looking at them that night? I'm always looking. He cocks his head to the side and turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity. Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I am just trying to understand. The rifle's scope has the best magnification. And if you don't like it, you pull the trigger. Yes, it looks you in the eye. Think of it as a form of critique. Been looking at anything else you haven't liked, but what specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? Yosef Leandrovich Daros, you're under arrest for the murder of the Colonel here in Martinez. Officer? Are we sure? Could maybe get more. It's been through enough. He nods back and turns to the man sitting on the log. Yosef Leandrovich Daros, you're under arrest for the murder of the Colonel. You'll be taken to the nearest precinct holding area for preliminary investigation. What? The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words. But you said I would be taken to the sum of all erratic movements, fidgeting, and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation. Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and you must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand? But... Amy's afraid. No, I don't want to. I have to stay here. He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror. He's sweating, beads are forming on his forehead. Your confirmation is not required, sir. The lieutenant turns to you. Now, onto the boat. First, does it have room for 3? Not really. He shakes his head. We can escort him to the pier, when either of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but... There's something you're not getting here that he's realizing. But what? The lieutenant shakes his head frustrated. Who watches over him when I come back for you? Lillian, you could ask her, maybe? Maybe I can ask that net picker to watch him? This is no harmless old man. The lieutenant shakes his head. It's a fucking world. He stares at something. Who knows what? In the dust. This world, what is this? No, listen now. Sure. I fail. Maybe we could all fit in there. You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct. No, take a whole day on the island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you. No need to be polite. I'll do it. This world. The old man repeats, what are you talking about? Is this... His voice drowns out in a sudden gush of wind. Us. Your skin is crawling suddenly. What the alien bug monster? Hi there. You're the squeaky thing, aren't you? A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb. Then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence. Blink. It's still there. An unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place. What's that? Point to it. What are you talking about? The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. The giant stick bug. There's nothing there. He looks confused. A stick insect. Ew, look at the face. It's over 3 meters tall. Looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. Feel your legs shaking under you. Your gun hand moved to your holster, but you do not have a gun. There is. I see it. Tell me what you see, damn it. Can't make out one small thing in the reeds. Can you? I can see it. More simple words. Thank God. If you can see, then you're not insane. What that means. It's really there. Spinning slowly, in absolute silence with the limbs long and slender. Be careful. Very careful. Lieutenant whispers and takes a step toward the giant arthropod. The creature stands on long, stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, light and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Kim, you have another camera shot. Take it. Reed like tufts stuck out of its joints. The insect moves its forearms and produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. It's the Insulindian phasmid. It is. The lieutenant whispers behind you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping, slowly, painstakingly so. You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminum and begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera. No, the flash will scare the creature off. Warn him now. The flash is loud. It won't like that. We need a photo. No one will believe us. Continues to pull the lens open. From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. Let me approach it first. I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture. He stops fiddling with the camera but does not put it down. He's letting his pride get in the way. No, he's totally right. Don't just take the goddamn picture. You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antenna reaching out. The motions are quick, sudden. I have the pheromone. I can approach it. Don't think the pheromone will do anything. It's turned to a skeptical hiss, but he has stopped now. The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you. Its antennae taking their measure of the air slowly. Why are you electrochemistry? I mean... This is potentially the last thing we do, right? I could just win. I have so many points stocked. Say something to it quietly, something like, "You exist." A sudden chirrup fills the air. The walking stick moves its whole body, limbs working independently of each other. A parts of a masterfully constructed machine. Moves just an inch closer to you. Doesn't only feel like it does. Its body language has changed, just slightly. I trust a 72%. Slowly, with your breath held, take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter. Sort of happiness. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemicals. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antenna to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal titan of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds and its eyes are like small droplets of water. Raise your hand slowly. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you below its crown of reeds. Little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly there is silence. Raise your other hand too. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, limbs moving independently of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They're white like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you. Shifting around in the reeds around it in the muddy water, you notice some of its hind legs apparently standing on the water from time to time. It's that light. Hi, I'm Harry. You don't really know who I am. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from this mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. Stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. Stand on your tiptoes, look more closely. You were right, little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature. On the segmented lower lip, looks like foaming, slowly. The foam is white and yellowish. It's foaming. Careful, it may be poisonous. The foam turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst one by one. Inland Empire, medium 11. Tell me what you're doing. It talks! I exist too. Tell me what it's like for you. I don't like any of these. If I tell you what'll happen, then I'll tell you what it's like for me. Like fire burning. Fire where? Inside. I do not have fire in me. In me there is not even blood, but lymph, like sap from a wine palm. Now I will tell you what it is like for me. For me it is a series of half-lit images, kind of darkness, being intruded upon. Transient, dim, moist. Intruded upon by what? Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, lightless, so light it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I am nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never burn. I'm glad to be me. Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you. With all of creation reflected in your forebrain, it must be like the highest of hells. Kaleidoscope of fire and riving glass. Eternal damnation. Even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, With eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great mute empathy for you. It's disorienting, but I'm keeping my shit together. That must be incredibly hard. The arthropods are silent and meaningless, all of you. Now that we are watching, when you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up, bud from you, banner-like blossom from you, and carry you apart in a sky funeral in honor of your passing. Not me, though. I'm a leaf eater. In honor of your shit, Lieutenant Yefreiter, which you kept together in the face of total unrelenting terror day after day, second by second. I have to say goodbye. No, there is one more. There are no more. Of all the creatures I've met, you're the kindness. No. It's not. It may be kind. But that may speak to a lack of the things that would make something unkind. If it is a very simple creature with no amount of condensed vitriol and things that would make a human unkind, can it really be given credit? You're the scariest. It simply is. You are the scariest. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman. Turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class. Very well. She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that. Take the picture, dude. Okay. There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed at by the camera. It remains fixated on you. Do it for the working class. Sorry. Comrade bug. In 3. 3, 2, 1. The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. He stands frozen before you. I got it. You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops on the photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and sky, and you as a shadow before it. Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. The limb before you is incredibly light like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over, hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Then when I heard it, pull your hand away. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave, from its stupor. You got it. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off. In a swaying praying motion, even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you. Disengage slowly. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water. The long limbs carry its feather weight without breaking the surface. Okay, we didn't die by the giant scary monster bug. Not that it seems like it could. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles in the water. And something under it, in its place it stood, bobbing there among the reeds, a collection of items. On. The lieutenant looks north with his hand raised to his brow. What's that? Down there. He squints. Looks like a nest of some sort. Should take a look. What now? The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He put his hand into the ash, sturdy and black. Some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state. Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him. Got a scary hat. Weird.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something's very wrong with him. Sir, how could you not see the phasmid? See? He stares at the reeds, falls silent. Mr. Ross? The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking. Of fear and longing? An addict of some terrible substance. Touch his shoulder gently. Plastic cape feels coarse. Light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail. He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The lieutenant inspects him gently. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross? The trembling mouth appears to sigh. Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. What happened here? Old age and shock. He looks at him, then you. He gets the phasmid. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid. The combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you? Couldn't see it, Kim. It's just the reeds for him. That could be part of the shock, but you're right. Something is off here. Mr. Dross? Touches the man's shoulder. No response. Maybe this is how the phasmid has stayed hidden all these years. And how did we see it? Oh, you mean whatever does this does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunk, sightings are brief and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it, he forgets it's there. Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds? If that's the case, this thing is super terrifying. The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse. It's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it in its company. It did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe? He looks at his notebook. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. He shakes his head in disbelief. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo. Found some things in the nest, Mr. Dross. He stares into the reeds. See this hat? Nothing. You see the scope? You lost it? Turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times, beige and white stripes. He lost the scope, and it somehow made its way over there, with the help of the magpie phasmid. The sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot? Silence, not even a sigh. Gotten all you will out of him. I'll let you rest now, Mr. Dross. Plastic cape flaps around his face. In a gust of wind, his back is slouched and his mouth open. The backs of his eyes are receding, his pupils are returning to normal. The strength has gone out of him. Just frail old bones and a shack of tracksuit trousers. And a windbreaker. Hang tight. We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here, if we do not take too long. Motherfucker gonna make me walk back to the goddamn... Come on, just roll the credits. Small white flowers blossom all around you. There's this boat. I don't want to walk over there. Tired of walking. Why couldn't I go inside? Can I come from this way? I hate the map mechanics in this game. Walking around is the worst part. Oh, magic invisible square. Gotcha. I think I can probably put away the flashlight. All the way back. Get back. We're done here. Skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is some inland waiting for you. You reach the jetty, climb out of the skiff. Ay, ay, ay. I'm just gonna... Yeah. Video's really long, but it is what it is.
Look what the tide brought in.
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head.
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
No one else seems bothered by the bleeding.
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Forget about all this. There's a giant...
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
Points you with both hands. Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you after pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us. We might need your help with something later.
Yeah, it's suddenly regaining his confidence. As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, she says warmly, flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles. Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you. What's this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science.
Oh God.
My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Where have you been all this time? There is a mercenary tribunal. A cemetery. He shifts his weight, crosses his arms, and looks you in the eye. Told us to fuck off. Said we're cramping your style. You're a detective god. Fuck everything. Oh, we'll burn, detect, or die. Wait. So you let me face a squad of trained killers alone just to teach me a lesson? Wasn't like that. Fuck you, Arik. We didn't know there was going to be a tribunal, did we? I said those things. I'm not like that anymore. Yes, you're sorry. You're the sorriest couple who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Arik. I've heard this repentant shit a million times over. Mentioned a task force. Yes, Major Crimes Unit under Lieutenant Dubois and Vic Mard. Ring any bells? Yeah, totally, I get it. Major Crimes Unit. He looks at Munya. He does not remember. See, he really doesn't remember. It wasn't a sick joke. At least that's good. Very good. How'd you know I was here? Cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you were. Okay, guard told you. And she looks around. People on the street helped us too with your whereabouts. None of this is ringing any bells. The bells are ringing because you have brain damage. Turns to the blunt. This is where you come in. How bad is it? Well, he doesn't have visible tremors. He talks about slurring. He can drive a boat. He's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic. As displayed in your interactions with him here and previously at the bar. And I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine of him before, and Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting. Interesting? Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry. He turns to you. What do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and socioeconomically? I think I'm so poor I lost my memory. I drank so much, I lost my memory, and I'm slowly recovering it. I made it all up, it's fantasy, a stupid joke, I know what I am. It might have been something to do with an anomaly in the church, 2mm hole in the world. I am a highly experimental detective. That was the method I used to solve the case. Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism. May have something to do with an anomaly in the church, honestly. Corresponding to the 20cm hole in your brain? Sure, this theory has great symmetry. I see how it folds itself neatly. I'll explain later, but there's another man who's lost his memory. A crab man. Crabman is an unfortunate choice of words, but I was there. The church and the ghost shook from an audio-spatial anomaly. May have been entropic, or perhaps related to radio waves. Either way, I have put this into my report. You should read it. I do not, however, think it has anything to do with him drinking himself to the point of brain damage. Thank you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Just to clarify, I do not think isolary entroponetics are a hoax. Pale produces global phenomena, it's proven. However, what has not been proven is total memory loss after drinking too much, Commodore Red. Honestly, I think he's just lying to us. But Detective Vigmar, he has blanked out before. I have. Yes, a couple of times after some of the more serious benders. One was after Two Drunks case, another one when we looked into that mural. The two cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the Next World mural, those were recent. Those cases were hard on you. Interesting. So at least he dipped his toes into it. Prepared, that's where he would have gotten the idea. Practice and then used alcohol to get there, so to speak. What do you mean? Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all, something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. He gestures toward the scenery. Look at the ruins, the neon glistening, or listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world. A tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He nods confidently. Just needed for it to end. K-Tron, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad I brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in Major Crimes Unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that. He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective. Line detective's good for now. For now? He looks at you then Trent. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the potty, or do we need to get him on disability pension? What now? Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. Really? No, now we discuss that. He points to the water. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Drove it into the ocean when I was drunk. So refreshing. Just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip. Doesn't matter. Your badge. Show me your badge. Right here. Legendary failure. In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic. It slips out of your hand. Catch it. Flub it. Oh. And I hurt my elbow. He has it. The patrol officer picks it up and gives it back to you, slippery and cold. He has it, John. It's his badge. And your gun? I may have pawned it. It's gone now. I checked the local pawn shop. You sold the pawnbroker a Villiers 9mm pistol to pay for booze. It worked too, didn't it? You're drunk right now, aren't you? You fucking bum, I can smell you all the way over here. I have not. Like, I had one day one. That is it. Tried not to, but it can't work as well without it. Let the suspect escape. Class you something because you were too drunk to assess her flight risk? I've read the reports. Lieutenant Kitsuragi's, we know. I wasn't here for her. That wasn't my case. I got duped there, sure. She pulled one on me. Duped again, outsmarted by someone who isn't drunk. He wraps his face in frustration. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. A Ruby something? Or the fact that you're ever at Claire's little peon drone now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff, that's nothing. Humorous anecdote. Heard of 6 people who were gunned down. Streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It's a fucking mass murder. Did everything he could. The lieutenant interrupts him. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at a considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. I also solved the case. It's solved. All of it. Detective, it's better if I do that. Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. Brushes a stray strand of hair out of his eye and coughs. He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it. You spent the week with him on this case. What's your take? On the case? On Lieutenant Lefrider Dubois. Well, cold gust of wind. He pulls up his collar. The drinking, the lost gun, also losing his badge. That's all true. And he's been drinking on the job. The man sighs deeply. Once. On Monday. The worst day. And then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer. It is worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a socioeconomist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which again, for a police officer, is a little odd. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective. One of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything. He doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he is not one to stop pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He's tireless, madly driven. Except for that one time when we stopped to sing karaoke, which by the way was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out. It is what it was. Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution. Who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, he also discovered a new species. A new species? A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reach. It unfolded from them. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid. Takes out the photo and shows it to the officers across the yard. Thick white snow falls all around you. Flakes stick to the glossy photo of the phasmid. Hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind. As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered. Oceana. Boom shakalaka motherfucker. So as you can see, I'm a pretty okay detective and an absolutely giant communist. Say nothing. Kim's got this. Fucking hell is that? The man cranes his neck, still looking at the photo. Is this somehow connected to the case? The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange atypical dementia. He fell into a stupor after its appearance, and became near catatonic. The phasmid may have contributed to his mental state in some way over the years. So it is connected. I must say this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it. It really does make it hard to fire the drunk. Tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away. This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now's the time. Now or never. There's also a dead man on the boardwalk. A missing person I found. Volunteered to grabs in the boardwalk, drunk. And you know I found him. The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of the funeral arrangements and family stuff. You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us. Still, good luck with the missing person. Still a point for you, no denying it. Confiscated drugs from a child's father. It's Kuno. You don't want to know. You're right, I don't. You snorted them, didn't you? I know you did. It's alright. I mean, at this point, anything is but the drink. Retard's nest, killer, strong motive for him. Fucking insanity. Look into the mystery of the Doom commercial area. Wanna take the shit back? Sure, why not? I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to, dude. Honestly, anything that ends this trial is okay with me. A quick nod. Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go. Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go. I have a few questions before we go about who I am. Man looks westward impatiently. Wiggling his car keys in his pocket. None of this matters. Actually, this matters. Lieutenant Kitsuragi. What will you do now? Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. Will have to be good to cover all this. Then I will have a serious talk up with my captain. About what? Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Ravishal. He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lens of his glasses. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready. Infiltrate. Investigate. Want to do that at Station 41? Talk to Captain Price? Rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains, not of my doom-mongering. No, I meant investigate. Come work with me. Work with Price. A crooked smile quivers on his lips. I'm flattered, but I don't know if I... Flattered? You are Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered. I would have to tie things up with GRIH first, but... Whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor. The lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden. We also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant, she says with a smile. Piles we need to get back to, mountains even. I do like the sound of that. He returns her smile. We got Kim! I'm ready. Good. She looks at you, then Vikmar. Fuck it, let's go. The man points down the street. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock. Under the afternoon sky, the great district hums. A chessboard of wooden houses. 80,000 living souls and chimney stacks. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41, the Boogie Street forking into the snow-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits in a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. En route to Saint-Jérôme. A square bullet slides to a square-shaped chamber in Old South. A man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen, yes. McLean, yes. Hillman, no. Vigmar, yes. Dubois, yes. Really? And Scotty looks up from the list to hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing, Captain. Battalion Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office and the curtains are drawn. Here is our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll sight at the people. Understood. Me know, of course. Wonderful. Woman looks north. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now? Just back to here. Alright, well, that was my playthrough of Disco Elysium. There are so many things I didn't do. And there are so many things I don't think you can do on a single playthrough, unless you min-max the shit out of it. RNG is a bitch. And I hate it. Even if it does make me look really fucking cool in the gunfight. It's a beautiful game. I know there's some sort of a thing that went on with its actual dev team and its publisher. I'm not versed enough in it to speak on it. I know it's not great, and if you're thinking about getting the game, you should probably look that up before you do so. Just for the sake of... then you can be properly informed whenever you make your decision. Like I said, what I've done here is my playthrough. I went with all threes, and then just picked the things that were, you know, doing stuff for me, which seemingly meant that I was really geared toward the emotional tree, which who could have possibly guessed that, right? But given that it has different things appear depending on what you have higher of, like perception was starred just because I wanted it to tell me about things because I'd probably miss it. And that thing was with us throughout the entire fucking game, you know? So I have to imagine it works similarly for other things, right? And I didn't just happen upon the one stat that's omnipresent. RNGs are kind of bullshit, though. This recording session has lasted 9 hours, almost, according to my OBS. Which is just a little bit longer than I meant it to be, and this current recording's going in the over 3 hour mark, too. Because I didn't think that there was that much game left when we finally figured out where the fuck Ruby was. Which I did need to look up because I didn't want to accost the old lady for shit that had nothing to do with anything. Fucking sue me. I walked right by that place. I should have seen the doorway, shouldn't I? But doesn't fucking matter. Hopefully, I was able to do justice to the parts of the game that deserve justice being done to them. Monotone voice at all. I don't know. I'm walking away from this one feeling like I didn't do good enough. Nah. Maybe that'll encourage someone else to do better, I guess. Whatever the case, you've dealt with my dumbass for however long it is you've been dealing with it. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed. Even though I'm pretty sure a couple sniffles went straight into the microphone. Behold, snot. To whatever happens next. Be kind to one another. Take care of each other when you can. Be seeing ya.